Well, hi there. Hey, this is Gary with Protractor Archery, and today's another podcast. You know, it's time of year when everybody's putting in for their hunts. You can hunt all over the United States. You can hunt outside the country. So you need to be aware of when the deadlines are to put your applications in. You have to know where you're going to hunt. You just don't want to put in for an area because you've heard that it's pretty good. Then you get out there and you find out, okay, I didn't have this equipment. It's a little more rougher terrain. I mean, all kinds of things will factor in to where you won't have as good of an archery hunt. So remember, put in the areas that you're familiar with, put in the areas that you know you can have the most success in drawing your tags, because some areas are going to have more opportunities or more tags available. Some are not going to have as many. Those that have less generally are a better hunt. So sometimes you have to wait for your points to accumulate. If your points accumulate, then you might have a better chance of drawing out on that particular hunt. I get asked questions all the time. And the questions are, what about this bow? What about this broadhead? What about, am I practicing the right way? Am I, using my pins the right way? These are all good questions. Some are easy to answer. Some are a little more difficult. And what can happen is when you want to find out a little bit more on, is this particularly the way I'm hunting working, is do your research. Do your research and practice. Now, everybody is we're kind of bottled up in the snowy time of year. We want to get out, we want to shoot. Okay, grab your bow. If you can go down to your local archery shop, shoot some arrows. Do you have to be right on? Hopefully you are, but if you're not, that's okay. You've got to build those muscles up. You got to get the same muscle that reacts every time when you're pulling your bow back. Now, pushing weights is good, but you've got to do it in a specific way to increase the muscle memory so that when you do pull those bows back, you can do it effectively and with not a whole lot of resistance. And with resistance comes practice. Now, in archery, everybody thinks they have to shoot the most biggest bow, the most poundage, because you know what? I'm macho. I'm talking about guys and women. Women, they think they got to shoot a little heavier too. That's not the right thing. Every time, if you can shoot a more poundage bow and be able to pull that poundage back, sure, that'll be an increase or a plus for you. But not every pluses are an X or a dot that's the correct way. There is as many deer shot with lesser poundage bows than there are with the upper end of the bows. So what you need to do is if you're going to go out and you're going to buy a new bow, let's start with that. We're going to start with a new bow. Go down to your archery shop and forget about what your buddies told you. Your buddies all have got their opinions. So one shoots a Hoyt, one shoots a Matthews, one shoots an Elite, one shoots a Bowtech. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Are they all good bows? Absolutely. Do they all kill animals? Sure. Are they all accurate? Yes, they are. But the best way to find out, particularly if a bow will fit you and if the poundage works for you, is to try it out. If you don't have to, buy a used bow. Go to an archery shop and say, all right, my local archery shop, I want to buy a new bow. What should I shoot? Well, they're going to be the same way to a point. They're going to say, I like this bow. I like that bow. All right, let me shoot both those bows. Let me shoot one more. Because as you try and use those bows, you're going to find out that this bow feels a little funny. The other bow, oh, I can't quite pull it back. The other bow, man, that's a smooth one. That's a smooth one. And then the other one, it's the same thing, but okay, what's just wrong with it? Okay, rule of thumb is the two that you can tell right off the bat, just set them off to the side. Don't even pick them back up again, even though your buddy says that this is the best bow you can possibly use. Just throw it out the window. Then take the other ones and shoot them again. Shoot them, and you can just feel how easy it is, or how it just your muscles and everything just kind of falls into place. Then start looking at that bow manufacturer and the model. Now, does this mean you always have to buy the top of the line? Absolutely not. That's why you start and work your way up. But I'm going to tell you how to start. You don't start at the bottom. You start at the top. Shoot the better bows to begin with and work your way down. You'll right off the bat see what the difference is and see if that difference you can live with. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But start at the top, not at the bottom. I keep getting asked questions about, what's the best broadhead, Gary? The best broadhead I've ever used is the one that kills the animal I'm shooting at. It doesn't matter if it's, X and this one's Y. It's what I like, and it worked for me. Now, what works for me might not work for you. So this is where you do your practice and you do your research. Is a fixed blade better than expandable? I don't even want to go down that road, because it depends. It depends on what success you've had, because you get into this mindset that I can only use this type of broadhead because it works. Well, if it works for you, then that's the broadhead you use. But that doesn't mean that all of us have to use that. Now, I have my favorite broadhead that I use, and I'm not here to publicize or try to say, this is what you should use. But I found the broadhead I like. I took a nice bull elk this year. He scored 404. That's 404 inches. Nice big Idaho bull. One thing that I use to help me to track and recover that is a system built by our company, and it's called the Protractor recovery system. And how it worked, I'll just tell you real quickly, is as the arrow impacts that animal, a transmitter comes off, stays with that animal, the animal runs away, and then it sends a signal back to me. And on the receiver that I have, it will tell me that, and it told me this, my 404 bull elk went in this direction. All I had to do was sit down and wait. So this brings back the ethics. So the type of broadhead you choose, the opportunity you have, they all work together. Now we're going to talk about practice. Right now is a perfect time to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Everybody's got their favorite arrow. Everybody's got their favorite setup. I like to practice at 20 yards, get very proficient with that. Go at 30 yards, get proficient. Go at 40 yards. I can't hit very good at 40. I'll back down to 30 for a little while. Now I'll shoot again until I feel comfortable. Don't think that you've got to keep jumping up to these longer ranges. Now, if you shoot longer, that's great. That's great. Just practice so that you can ethically shoot and hit that animal so that you can recover it quickly and ethically. A lot of times, back to what I was talking about on your draws, if you go in an area that is going to take quite a bit of effort in hiking, quite a bit of effort in elevation, it's up higher, then you need to practice and start to work out. That means going for walks, going for hikes. An easy way to do that in any situation in town is put a pack on. It can just be a day pack, but take bags of salt and they could be 10-pound or 5-pound bags. Put a couple in your pack, put them on your back, and then walk. Get used to that weight. You're adding more body mass to your weight, to your body, so that as you walk, you're getting used to more and more weight. Now, as you go into elevation, if you have the opportunity and you live around to where you're going to be going hunting, or just go there to scout, hike, get to where you're familiar, where you're at, where you can hunt, and also how you can get back out. Now, remember, when you're hunting during the day, it looks pretty good. When you hunt at night, it's black. And you've got to be able to find your way back out. So landmarks, different ideas and different trails that you can use, get familiar where you're hunting. Now, another thing you need to work on is on your arrows. Everybody shoots a, different spine arrow. Spine means the stiffness. So if you look at an arrow as it bends, that is the spine. The stiffer the spine, the less it's going to bend. But when you shoot it, it's not going to have as much of the camber or the paradox as it's going towards that animal. So you have to practice. Now, when you add weight on the end, you can add more weight right at your broadhead, and back to what our company is kind of noted for is we have what is called the bad boys. That is a weighted sleeve that slides over the shaft of any arrow so that you can actually hunt with it and shoot to increase FOC, front of center. So that's just one little way of using the Protractor bad boy to help increase penetration and accuracy. This works very, very well. That's what one looks like when it's all set up. Your favorite broadhead, the bad boy, and your favorite arrow. Now you have to practice. So if you're practicing and you're shooting into your targets and your arrows are a little bit on an angle they go into, they're a little bit have too much, not enough spine. They're too flexible. So you need to go up. So say if they're a 400, you need to go to a 350. If they're a 350 and they're coming in different angles, maybe you need to go to a 300. So you need to experiment and you need to practice so that you're using the correct equipment in order to hunt and make a good, enjoyable experience, because your equipment's going to perform the way it's intended. Another thing is when you go hunting, and this is a little bit debatable, there's been a lot of animals shot with, a pair of blue jeans, a pair of, I just got a regular coat and I'm out hunting. And that's great. But what's happening is a lot of these animals are getting smarter and smarter. They kind of get accustomed. They find out that, hey, I see this farmer John over here. I see this guy over here on a four-wheeler. He's danger. He's, better stay away from him. So you got to use technology. Technology is your camouflage clothing, so you blend in a little bit more. You've got scent cover-ups so that you can wash your clothes, and then when you go into the field, also spray yourself all the way up and down so that you don't have the body odor of a human, so that you're not going to scare them off. Does that mean that always works? No. There's been as many people, and it's been proven that they walk right up to a guy that's dressed just in his bib overalls and a red hat. But you need to increase those odds by using technology. Clothing, scent, binoculars. Be able to look out there to find out, is that the animal I want to pursue? A rangefinder. Okay, how far out is that animal, so that when I do shoot it, I can make a good ethical shot, not a poor shot to where more likely I'm not going to find that animal. Another thing we need to worry about is when we do get an animal and we have shot it, we need to do everything in our power to find and recover that as quickly as possible. Now, there's different parts of the country that will debate that a little bit. If it gets colder at night, yes, that animal will maybe not spoil or be a little bit rancid, but you want to err on the side of caution. Use everything in your power to find and recover that animal. And if it's at night, use a flashlight, follow the blood trail. See if you can find and get that animal off the mountain quickly. Now, Protractor, when I shot my 404 bull, my system took me to it. It was just in a matter of an hour, and I could find it. We got it off the mountain. So you need to find your animal quickly, get it cleaned out, and get it off the mountain. I'm going to ask you a question, and think about this. And you have to answer yourself. If I shot a nice, so let's pick a nice buck, a nice big 4-point mule deer. I'm from Utah, so we have more mule deer than we do whitetail. So big 4-point mule deer. And I know I shot him good, but I can't find him. Do I check my tag and not go hunting again? Or do I say, he's probably going to live. I'll go find another one. Is that ethically what we should be doing as a hunter? Just think about it. I'm not going to say it's what you should do or what you shouldn't. It's all depending on what you want to do. The only thing I can tell you is if I take an animal and I don't take it the correct way, if I've got it mounted and it's sitting up on the wall, do I think it's in a gray area when I shot that animal? Am I proud of it? Not as proud as I should be because I didn't do everything right. So once again, I want to go through a few things of what you should be doing in order to get ready for your next hunting season. Get your tags. Do your research on the area where you're going. Make sure they're applied early. There's nothing worse than applying for the day after and it's closed. When you go hunting with a partner. Go hunting with your buddies. Go not by yourself. If you do, let people know where you are and you're not very far away because you don't want something to happen and, heaven forbid. Also, practice. You need to practice at 20 yards. You need to practice at 30 yards. Now, one thing that we've got to remember when we're practicing is, we're shooting in a range. So I'm doing the same thing every time. Click, 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 boom, click, 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 boom. Well, if I'm sitting in a tree stand, have I practiced sitting down? Have I practiced kneeling in a blind? So you need to practice the same way you possibly could shoot. Now, if you shoot a 60-pound bull and you're standing up, when you sit down, it's going to be harder to pull back. So is a 50-pound bow better for you because it's going to be more universal? Or do you want to struggle and possibly not get that all the way back and locked for that big buck or that big elk that comes by? Think about it. You need to practice. Now, is a 50-pound bow as lethal as a 60-pound? Absolutely. If it's set up the right way, it is just as lethal and it'll do the exact same thing. Back to what I said earlier in our conversation here. There's more animals taken with lesser poundage bows than there is with the upper poundage bows. Speed is good, but you have to harness that and use it the correct way. So if you can back it off a little bit, use heavier front of center arrows, add a bad boy, increase that FOC, more pass-throughs, better penetration and accuracy. Next, you need to make sure that your health is right, make sure that you've practiced, you've exercised, and you need to stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. It's been a lot of fun with Protractor Archery having these weekly podcasts. They go on YouTube, they go on Facebook, and you know, a lot of things I say are opinions according to Gary. Is that 100% true? Pretty close. Pretty close. It's debatable on Ford, Dodge, Chevy, Hoyt, Matthews, Bowtech, same thing. It depends on what you like. But I try to give you what my thoughts are, how I feel about hunting, and the reason we do hunt. We hunt because we like to be outdoors. We hunt because we love to hunt. And also, we hunt because venison is great. When you eat venison compared to one you buy it at Albertsons, you don't have to do that. You know, you'd rather have an animal that tastes good. Now, I just got a question that came in. How long are the bad boys, and do you have to catch your arrow? Well, the bad boy is 4 inches long. It's 4 inches long. Do you have to cut your arrow off? Absolutely not. I'm going to show you how easy it is. This is on our new arrow. It's called the Cobra. And all you do is slide it over the shaft of your arrow. Take it on. There. It's all the way in. Take your broadhead. There. That's all ready to go. Don't have to do any more adjustment. This will automatically increase it and lift it up on your rest to compensate for that extra weight. Now, the purple one here is 200 grains. So I've added a 200 grains plus a 100 grain bill tip, but let's call it a broadhead. So I've added 300 grains. When that hits hard. And when that hits, more penetration, more accuracy, and possibly more pass-throughs because you've added that weight to increase the front of center. Now, I've got another question. Let's see. Do I have a picture of my elk? Well, I sure wish I did. And let me look, because I do have a picture. Let me bring this up. 1 second. Right there, Gary's elk. There it is. All right. Bear with me 1 second, and we'll bring that up. All right. This is Gary trying to run the program here. Let me find it. Might be faster bringing it up on my phone. Let me see what I can find here. All righty. Well, I don't know if you can see that, but that's the elk. That's the 404 archery elk for 2020. Nice big 6-point. Nice big 6-point. Well, in closing, I want to thank everybody that participated today, that spent the time to come and get on. Like I say, if you've got any questions, go to our website and get on next week. We meet every week at 3 o'clock. This is Mountain Standard Time. And I'd love to have you get on, ask questions. And all I can say is stay healthy, have fun, and go out and shoot your bow. Signing off from Protractor Archery, this is Gary Christensen. Thanks.